شغل ممتل تقال غوت بدو سسرا يبدول مرقلاي مربقول بيلاو بيلوم ابي رقلاي مرمسيل بيلاو President Senate Hawkins Paulus مرقول senators Speaker House Anastasio مرقول delegates Chief Justice Ngirai Galau مرقول justices governors late speakers mar late tours marbek le other belaw ngara blur ngayang al mo charigi mangara ikla blur bera al sils mal marud artel al sils October 26 namo mgatet al dibus من ورا تلاد روكو اي سيجل يملا امرولاد ما دون نطمخ دي رو هذا بورسي اوترول ان شغلوا تال مال المو مرينا سوليرا بلورا نرتماو التيرام له هوسترا او بي اف القمداش مال نقول دي رادا مال سمريار من دي ميرا لانلو يقل امو مال مو اوسوي من غدا مال مرينا سوليرا بلور نرتماو التيرام لو سي لوك هوستر تيال او بي اف ريال الراق دريغل مرينا سوليرا تيال بيك البارتيسيبانتس نورتو دا ادور تيري most importantly, of course, OTTL Klebela Orgidel, idam de Sebela di Imo. And the regal Celsilsa, tell UND, the regal Tokobet Celsilsa arterul mal close to Tiller, tell OBF. Oturulum le Tanjobira Raklai, Bao Irman. Oh, no said the Bayanse celebrate the Mongel. A regal governor, other groy. The regal le. Tiamal mlawil ngwa OBF marabulu celebrate ratan jobiem ding mal mringa sulire congratulate tira ok tanjobir tir gida serada top der bela amle first stop pergida amlora ablura shaban gadam lo attender sel Kamal Dilan Prime Minister Abe sel lolo hotel ase dal winner bela ma shaban amal msisi مليسو هذا الأوتي قدم لت مغل مون جدا مع former president المساواة ما درنا بوجودا الأوتي لو سين highest level of participation الأوتي سلو مول of course president المساواة ما president أبي عمله متى ترجع داخل أوريور عمله ورتوي رسيجي ده مسيرة دعنا شيابا لين ديم لك كلول ملبلو الموت ما مسيرة emperor رسل next day أبي عمله تارين دي رجل سرا دبلوبر الدموكر السلا سل لونديبل يقدم لها فرونت رو السبب بلو على فرونت رو يقدم لها تير من سي او تي سل وكمال ميدل دلويل يقدم بلو رشابان قدم لها يقرأ البلو دي قدم بلو لو سبيراتولو أسيتيال البلاو كيوشو ريجا تيا أو ما غير يقدر يقولا برتاكل of course كده مال تقوبت هذا الولي كده ما بروح شعبان من كذا نوع تناتروك نوسيد المو أو تيسل أو كلولو مول المرجال مال نسأل البلاو الروبا أوري ورسي كده نوسيد المورا واشنطن دي سي أكمله I was one day late سير أبون مرسل meeting دي minister أيتارم لارسلهم تأريد لقدم لار الشعب الممرقة قبل دي لمو دي صاد الهايلايت نيرسل الميتينغ قدام لصاد المسام رجال واسنغران تكمل جيل لقال تورا قمباك من نويرا ميتينغ ناريا سيلبا بينيلا يقتل تدل امباسادور سر FAS الامباسادور كيوتا مع امباسادور FSM مع مارشال ساميلو سلمورام رجال واسي أيجل نمودارس لو تورا أيجل أوك negotiation أقام بقتا يا دخل سامل accept يريل موت روتين مرقام واسين تيانا أجير دلوا مصري مثل declaration التلاو ده ما ملهم قتكليل واسي تموسيقى بأسل resources سيا دولون غيريني ملسوا هذا المثال واسي بايدن administration meaning President Biden amlalo adula commitment rin wase I'm going ngirel tia priority to orang pact makmosiga adale langes diregal mlania tele del mlania separate meeting la mgira secretary of state دي قايد الكلدل بلو را في الأسوسييتد ستيت أمنا تقليل مدادورة السكرتير بلينكن مع أمباسادور يون الموت لو السي أي قايد التغول مرتيل واسي غير هذا بلغة تقلع دو أي قال بلوما ما غاريا والسبيل هذا قال سئل من المول من وايسل والداسورا غرامو من سel tol dulu speri wase unacceptable mang kemudian wase la lora la nego discussion lo bangela minister udui seguida doban girel adwal girel mutro siga bes resources el girel tel el dadu sel goramle encouraging al deal sang from Biden, from Blinken, material adala White House, Kurt Campbell and Jake Sullivan ngari sel urgency el wase gired gut makli gired el mawira both sides kasi el dio makpitang so gumbral wase Aurora Amral and elal week ngeluk chairman of Foreign Affairs Committee House Rablu Ramrigel mara five congressman Amer Belau later in the month and dirigal me ngel ambassador Union Meldinger Belau also this coming week ngari sedomosen JCM meeting so again the otisel CCL del wili gidra mgra bro amrege la gira dalla dura batogal issue nimna sadal highlight was mle cloud total cell meeting amrege la I think is cell point tira say they're more focused on the Pacific the kadila FAS metal whole Pacific as a whole diregal serabo domre garse gadim le mal telmora Singapore Singapore en nariate el gestra government morsel el Grand Prix sel Grand Prix they host it every year it brings about 60,000 el adra ikrela blura Singapore mera Singapore it's a big tourism event a lot of people hold what do you call them conventions, meetings around the cell event. Government of Singapore also takes an opportunity to invite our guests. Auk mle guest lalim larse gid ma direk blura President Hori Ping larse President Rwanda ngel Sultan Malaysia ngel Prince Brunei tial umilskida opportunity to meet of course our Prime Minister and many of the ministers among ambassador Singapore say this is your opportunity to speed date the real ministers adding are said rogui they have a suite at the Grand Prix they invite people there and then it's an opportunity to interact with all of them you talk to the different ministries you get ideas of course etial host etial transportation minister gel no say the sign at air services agreement it's really an opportunity to engage and to learn more about how they do things Singapore island at one time hindi mo klungel belaw dito di omega twice the size belaw land area artir and the Tortogora Marklo population at tiamu 6.5 million al other carrying to manage and to plan for that plungel set population amringan so everything from housing youth policy environmental sustainability is important interesting and we had the opportunity meeting Minister of Sustainability and they were explaining how they have to recycle our aral melektiga te importaran Malaysia din sel cut off seral ababa amran so they collect all their water including I got remur trara, of course as were. Sel interesting I got collector rogui emrogo seal process and mo siya del malim are actually better than drinking water. Leng tose I get a semiconductor industry o spare ser ralm. Leng malimis clean de minerals mangarar al selum. Siya by los peringil mrula chips. So interesting ang almas as tegida aral ngara tiang al siya cardboard box kasi tiya deka desa kasi hindi tiya seran dekam taste. So I did taste it. Tastes like rainwater. You know, basically deka minerals al selum. You know, there's a lot we can learn. Minister mutulang na telel mitra seluk ministry tira human resources or youth, and it's about building connections and work. Kita aklol ngesulam kita aklol mongal lukira la tora wa finance ma direkal tora airport transportation. I think there's other areas that they can also help us in. Kada mlomre kara Singapore, of course, emlora Taiwan. Trip together ma Taiwan, kumasa headline 6 out of 8 el ministera dibus. Di kada mrenga sular director mar adalo aurora al mrula aurora bekalsil, and that's parte ombrala direcal urior. Digo eso hace trip together ma Taiwan mlebetoga a meeting di tara duru like a round table. Like round table meetings I'm close to telling sell first am milchadra tourism and transportation. Same leuriura, I'm sorry. Dolmul mo mesa president sell 2000. Of course discussion again the serada mugela president revolved around or say we need to revitalize economic mam. Kada mrenga sulir sel nombre kadagal serada le travel babale emnet emlas no mori. Ndi sel mlengal sanga sel sea of course in little Maria COVID kada mle el sea el al basically on October 13 el sel openera at Taiwan. We need to restart the tel al tora tourist mang sea mle clolon tidel mora a president of Taiwan. Ndi dimlar sel meeting president of Taiwan as vice president Lai mongor alemol teluro lo asem grado olgisa tora tourist. We had those round tables the next day. I'm the first round table. I'm the transportation and tourism. Tamler travel agent, tamler tegege role airlines. Point to discussion. I said we need committed air service. We need it now. We cannot continue to wait. Degal said the mol mertial na modor years and ngartia China Airlines. Degal said ngarigel flight rasa ngaringi euk mo stop. Tiagirel moda. Degal gir dromes at that time, say about Taiwan, 1,500 round trip ticket. My gamal expensive. The Mr. Samuel flight Taipei mora at Taiwan and the less than $500. What are the reasons for the differences? So there was a lot of discussions. One, of course, it was saying song sa magit and more belao. Other belao, I mean, other ambassador belao saying dim gerada sin monina dim el bakla. So there was a lot of discussions of how to improve the product. Magrada let people know Bela, there's more than just the Rock Islands, and area culture, and area waterfall, and area Badalula. I mean, there's a lot more to see Bela than just the Rock Islands diving. Tel Rock Island, that's El Morian Bigarelad, Marmaclola, Degal, you know, so seguida la clol gira del concept get an introduction. I say it's open to all ages. Diregal Altara Lulsa Adania say our runway, and this is something I did not know. Our runway gida agadep. So sell current China Airlines at Flyer Merbela A321. Actually in the Kasin Miguel Gadori Gingal Ral sell. So you're already at a 20% disadvantage in Agadeba runway. So that adds to the price of the ticket. because of the distance, tia actually applies sa diri kan mga flight ng Korea, mamora siyaban. Because of the distance, they have to carry certain amount of fuel, and because of that weight, mo penalty mo dakal sil los pertial runway. So, you know, one of our discussions was expansion of the runway is a must. At least adding another, ideally 9,000 feet, which would be another 1,800 feet. Among taraygal discussion that I think our partners need to get involved in, and because for security reasons and for the tourism sector, it's important for economic development. Etiamal mo ala ra flight, for example, ngara Taiwan al merbelaw, emro ang artian and stop al mora Australia, because those A321s can do that, and then they need to have the runway to take off. That's long enough. So, kada Maringa Sulila government gets the first round table, get tourism and transportation, bringing those people together, and then the next one, ukle towara a finance. Madirigal misado asing marada. How do we develop the fintech industry? How do we partner with Taiwan al girela financial services, and how do we expand that? Sa last round table, I'm really aquaculture and fisheries. Mang diri kan noria tele den mitir tigal tol tiram nang ngasir beral girela tol aquaculture, and how do we also expand that? We would say, tourism discussion, and one issue, the chairman of China Airlines, we need to have a meeting with him, but other tour companies. So we had another subsequent meeting. At that meeting, China Airlines, said, no, we'll get back to regular service, time, and we'll work on the airfares. So that was promising. Vice President Lai, Taiwan, Merbelaw, November 1st, Emra November 3rd. Tiang Lomrolela reciprocated Tial Omrolela ma Taiwan, Malsual me President China that's El May, Emla Askara, Vice President Lai, mo leader Tial. Really, it's about revitalizing, reconnecting, and rebuilding Tial. Economy. This so happens to also be what was their theme at the Yosan Forum, which I had an opportunity to it was about revitalizing, reconnecting Aigal Blura Pacific. Mang kada Maringa Sulera other Taiwan commitment tertil was a economy rigid close to tell, and they want to do their part to help rigidel. And I'm sure when Vice President Lai arrives, and yamo announcer sel mal full al plan airline scheduling ma arogui. Moria telel modadura public arsel rotondar olbira galulaw. Say either afternoon around November 1st, 8 o'clock. Maktirman mga darag min adra media may join. A delegation in Mea, 102 of. There's the government sector, there's the tourism sector, there's also aquaculture people coming, also people to come and invest in hotels. And there's people coming in the aquaculture. What was the last one? Tourism. I guess province or county sera hablo Taiwan area rep pertil gira tora tourism tirgeme including irtigal travel agent. It's a big delegation. It's about revitalizing, reconnecting, and gida malmo busy next week lang Cotember Congressman Ram Rigel, Vice President Lai, ang area JCM following me yun. So mo to activity rablu dire kalung legal visit dire kami mo komge kara hotel, so welcome ra adal uk mera ablu, and then I stayed there for an extra week wadi ngania gigarel urur plani, and then I came home. It's good to be back, and Mnari atul MOU blada sign. I say mnari sel MOU girela aquaculture, and then I think there was an MOU blada signing Minister Odul girela Tora Finance. I say. I'm sorry, ma diregal Tora CIP. CIP?
Indigenous. Council of Indigenous People.
Council of Indigenous People, yeah. Sorry, alin dekal construction el kasi. Oh, inge deka ayun din dekal Minister Obia. The Sir Council of Indigenous People amle invite ka mo raigel el uk villager tir magi uk commerce sengana tamrul girela tourism. And you know that's an important connection el do vasel uk aigel tial culture and what we share with them. So it's something el gira them lisi erbela so sulang ya minister at matul el signer say. So tigal minister adim la loyal tamal ne part tra delegation ne munin laurerir it's good to be back and of course lastly, and I think I will be gone the next week and the following week kada mutan mora cup sa monera Egypt ma nga kama minister Victor madiri kala minister Itaro Modibus so timari da among arsi with that I open aula gire la question kermanya
Malungil tawi President, indeed welcome back. Akti agariga wera ko bese kamne mention sel Tor Airport namang akti director ngil mora obiangin sabel answering after sel wasing kateba tel runway. Korab to kay gel US FAA grant tel mira airport ngaringi partneringin mo extend ra tel runway all time. Second question na di ko kaskan ni President till start President ngaringi sel il case ilangara ulbi ma social security el gira like el payment ra supplemental SS benefits mlamora karagaril kortam la potential vasen tempra TR all holder SS mandakal enforcer sel policy until mumre ka karagaril kera egor ka se tiabor dergawe ngaringi agora urior el marael el malasam el resolver tel klagaros rauldas mandakal lolmol mangara karagaril alubet yang girel modrura karagaril el momotor ko kuma se mal ngararay kal la girel altirak
kalbabo obiangin
Lituta elegam sulara agrim dakadil الFAA را مريجلا am kataktara dolo ni tringil gira la extension ra runway at least stable 9,000 feet. Diregal military ra agsela military Air Force especially Air Force Marines Navy namil diregal al may access ra airport. Maringa sa edel mga maringin may betula west malubi ka maringin mo betula east. Abel betula west ang mo require a superstructure or kata lera la mo malay ngel. Tial abol betula east ang kukira dal lo mage kara. Mangayge omsubel FAA tirekal na ame mang masanya advisory gid ay dal tablol al teletal sa del extendering madirekal ongoing al assessment ra a military ra Amerikal mang marayal mang kada mga datura at Amerikal ay gal protocol project ma especially gal cook department ring ra FAA ma DOD LOC gal was ngararinga mo sa elong sugid ra gal extension and kadil Paul helper tira to ko ra exercise Andire kalmal economic cleang mo help para blur bela mo sa dal accommodate tamak lo skoy. Sulang.
extension ano rin mo kakarin maklolo daw. We're talking in the hundreds of millions. That's ngobra maybe something yadal ask critical partners yadal mutmagigut makle. So we should also ask Shaba, Taiwan, Amrigel, because they all have interest. Mongira airliner tir, mongira security Amrigel, so maybe that's something that we need to explore and see. Marada asker tir, no one more engaging. It will really open up a total opportunity in Merida ulumang mosabela runway table man. Diregal self question ko girela SS malungi la question kida of course yung nani alla al milkat mo krolbi lekadam la signing in molla of course yung lo dar some of course I hope pergi daw sa SS or tautralla the border SS of course is an independent board the border gid degal dil border present the border lomter are beneficiaries o mesel best interest ra fund mlo issue ra border SS o commissioning lo ase alla atablong kung puno sa gi fiduciary gagi da angar alam ediregal komrulle alla algi modongali lo ase degal se la SS mon mon lo takawri mung kama madagi mgange lo tobodra udo ile kama mala otter sel uk ngar alam as a board unfortunately the only way to resolve versegi del to either kad amendra alla or en kad mora corte otbdilo ase ngara who has the authority agumra lo ase bebera time ngil albora corte way del to en help clarify angara lera ele SS ase as a board samlo top da udo ndi agi ukfil wase kama ma ukmalmal ersel ngar alam I think segida that's what we have to balance di gida mdingil wase of course kadangara atitu all time relang SS ngari SSL lududel so I'll be wase tigda la me motor klitia tigda SSL ludo mo help kami so it's about balancing those two gumra lo ase taking it to the court is the right route help pergi clarify otro clear ang decision mo sa dalo tira kay
Di ask follow-up question ito ang Presidenta. Ngaring sel bill lem submit ring mora all bill kira la sura SS mo raise a retirement age mo 65 increase contribution mo 9%.
I see.
O sel ay kay el age sel 65 years of age sel 9% el contribution seng le base ra tegi del wasi al sukumut mo hara tel supplemental benefit tegi de kidel moringil el conditions sa mo sabira mo malmol ma SS al haraw and if so ngani ako ra ko comment bulula say ngani adam laurior mo over other years and this talbol 65 ng kidel malmol mo 4 years sa laurior mandira kalmal ko ra hindi kang ngaring itigal affected by it. Ay kang mle partner cell ko ra balancing act talubang malkirel mo.
So sel last year emnani klol londi bara amayo. Kadamle ask our stakeholders marbekla adan motmak lom tirtigal consultant to come up with a policy sa dalol tira kanil hopefully make sure was it tial fund gida sustainable mran mo. Gida mdingil ase last year ng mani atama adara border assessa dilo ase agi mostoba payment lang ndegawdo mumle commitment ra gida ase kada submit ra la almor olbira galulaw radi mere adal time so that's why I'm submit ra sige dal time why say tablo to abolorul change our retirement age increase ra gel ligil pera ya umra lo ase amleuk lurogodong yadro olbira ase al time adagal will the race agel ese sereng kadore ding bring la la claro bring la inflation we see is over 10% already this year. Among kalil wrong time, the raise sell contribution at all time. That's why they came up with 1.2 million was a table subsidizing. But it's something that we need to act on eventually. Sell 65 years of age. Alin di kasi retire 60. It just means you're not going to get your full benefit. At the end of the day, giral tial mosois magora giral atira gil metto. Masel all time. It is a challenge ra SS. Already I get benefits before a supplemental. Ang songs by 6 million. With the supplemental and wabong songs are 10 million. E molar at 10 million or tial fund every year within 2031 and mojero. So there's adjustments that we need to make. So one alora will do the other more contribution to more SS increases. For example, like sell increase and more will do the other government. I will add 600,000 and more sell contribution and more SS. Room of the raise a private sector direct and another 600,000. Again, that's the end result. So I guess maybe also see sell percent when sell another more 9 and sell may 8. But these are things that need to happen. They cannot say the they got rule like and help tell fund them. Mungira the age no matter what say gira the lomeseri. Oh, you got say other the mother no reality is we're living longer. American amla they am budula 70 kita they sadra 65. So gather mo help brother blue understand there was a cell committee not mage on top of the say the policy amle بيغير الآد المرة مكلولة. يسأل interesting الفاكت لوك السيلو بيرسي أنا بيغير الآد هذا say we're okay with retiring later. We're okay with increasing the contribution. We're not okay with ملا سعودية تيجال المليس رأيده. So I get them away, and if it's not next year, but it needs to happen. Eventually, we have to make the tough decision, and we need to take care of it. A pension plan mga issue, we have to address it. Ayam katatal model, but we need to, and one of the things really self study I say, it can be 8%, it can be 9%. Mo plan mo, kodo mesinga ISS amaran mom sisi, e kung siya reducing, they can get fixed. And the other thing really lead sell ISS I say, model olbila di otop de ayalo asem raise by 50, raise by 50. Mo base ra inflation ko do ko nga sa ayal benefits ra. So seguida direcal pesel policy gira del al multi rakring. Degadil feeling, feeling, and the model feeling at more sell. It's going to be based on wage inflation. Sell Nasa do the other order, Mia, get Massa SSL, because the do the other order say, fund. So it should be based on wage inflation. I got to raise a benefit. So I get the old doctor, help other bloom understand was intent about that makit. They want to make sure and get contribute to all time, I think I'm going to benefit and more. So when you have those conflicting ideas, you need the court to set the direction or say, what's the correct, what does the law say, what do you follow? But siya di ka lang sumang court am na kasi tobo da udo de girel malmon, and that's siya girel malmon siya girel malmon, hindi ka lang tiangar alev, girel ro siya udo malmon baluring. Okay? So that still has to be done. So
Tuta Presidente como arbeklar. President ko naman siya tablo trip Ambassador Union mera following week, ma US Congress el mera next week. So sel trip para US Congress ngari sel akong 2 weeks ago ndiram narnya ngale Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz ako mas adiram mera. Emergo tiya ako follow by this one. So emergo di mo wadi o aso si ngara ko ramal mukti kari kay kita trip from Regal Koram Lame at this time. Merkong in regards to Ambassador yun since yung tiyakotan meeting ngin Berbelaw. Nga nakato ka expected tiyal aldadu tala I mean aldadu ang girl elan Berbelaw katu where do we pick up irap merkong moving forward. Ang kadi ito.
Da akong maral was Blue Ram Regal focus tira maram na shift na Pacific. Kita of course na to ka tema del last year mo visitor tigal congressman Blue Ram Regal. Akong maral was self awareness maklaw dang tira belaw ana tribal ngosek. Interesting tiga selame ndekal bora FSM ndekal bora marshals tamal di merbelaw. At merbelaw tamora Lugilay Solomon Islands. Ayam mal suelo lol dingel belum. En kadiom na sira map pem dasing why. Gida mom dasing allocation or gid angot ay restaurable. Gida gotel medra Asia. Ntige selame ten mel kwedra kwam mek medra belang. Mang gida meringa sulil melding en te ledlo ay sertil wasing raigel el gida magalorol giren. Blue Ram Regal amal osper gid. Migid mo dos pertir. Mo mo kay ngasew. Sel mo ilak lang other belaw. Betial beri usarang lagi dal dimran Blue Ram Regal ad mostop. Ele te al ngar belaw adi wat te al ngar Ram Regal. Sea blol do sadrin mortil wase. Asum kom sada security ya economic security maklo tutelen. Girel mo ila dal clear other belaw. Men dia al ngib sele ko Blue Ram Regal kom dal som le ko Blue Ram Regal. Ibe berablo dalo sadro sen digi tama se kon madal som le ora blam brigel din dekal du ula la magimo mang ngaria cloud to trela sel do sadro tel compact e do mesa se magara how do we get to the level rakwam mahawai that's how dalang mang sa minister udoy mong mamsada trip rayun di Almost a clangat and mergid, but at the same time, there will say how strategic Palau is, Artial, El Pacific, Madal Will, my security, Blue Ram Regal. So, yes. Minister Udu.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yun's visit was planned after our first meeting in Washington with the negotiating team. So we believe that in order for him to understand our needs, he needs to come into country and see what we're talking about. So this is a result of that first meeting. It's a bit late, he said, in the fall. Now we're heading into winter. But better late than never. We compared to the RMI and the FSM, have until next year to negotiate. So we do have time. But we are trying to accelerate the negotiation, and that is something that they're willing to work with us on. So his visit is really to see where we are in Palau, and then we'll be able to also have additional discussions as we've been having. When I was in Washington, I did meet with Ambassador Yun, and when he comes here, I also would like him to also meet with the advisory group and have a more in-depth discussion on the situation here in Palau and what needs we're identifying to him, such as road infrastructure, capital, maintenance. These type of needs are what we want to show him in person, and we think it'll make a difference in his understanding of our needs. So this is what we expect when he comes here. Also, it'll help him to see critical sites important to both Palau and the U.S., such as port and the airport. So the issue we were talking about earlier involving the runway is something he can see for himself. And I think that should inform him more and help us with the negotiations. His visit here will be following a visit to the RMI, and his new plan is to stop by the FSM as well. So it'll be good for him to compare and contrast the different places that he's involved with negotiating. So we're hoping for a good result after this visit. So this is what we're expecting when he comes in about 2 weeks.
So,
And I just wanted to share one more thing. When I was in Washington, I had an opportunity to speak to the Chamber of Commerce. And then at that meeting, there was people from DFC, from Starlink, from FedEx, from ExxonMobil. There was a bunch of U.S. corporations in the room. And DFC is the development. Huh? Oh, no, besok nam lo toram rigel. Mna tele da. Arsir. Tio misra gale be okna. Kada tara amle meeting ri da Washington amle selam tesel Chamber of Commerce table hostria triela da DFC, the Development Finance Corporation. Maria, of course, Maria other airlines, Maria other Starlink. I don't know if you're Starlink satellite, and we're trying to see if we can get them to help us with the schools in the outer islands. That meeting, and then the other thing, sera kung duak milsadro say, why not have FedEx have their hub for Asia in Palau? Dik tilulo say in the same breath I said, ding kadeba runway one problem. Ngele CEO of DFC, he sent me a letter right after. I say, we're very interested in financing at our airport. I will not respond to tila alone. They see the potential. I mean that's so I'll assume it's a development grant thing. But those are just opportunities that I wanted to share. That's why I visit Rawayun and Merbelao, so he can see and understand. They say, benefit Ramrigel, a benefit Merbelao. Why not do it? Yeah.
So just a related question, Mortel, to our Pakte, President. So, Belao, FSM, RMI, Adil Isya Mabilingir, before sale meeting, Pacific, Ngalabidan, Elmo. I guess I get the issue legal say, and the algang I get Thomas Lossing predetermined, I get negotiating points from Regal Merbela, Malakatele. A serial top sell saying 9 points declaration, or sell ligang. And Arnia sell language specific markampact to say, Amerigela or Mes Lossen Namugel Moria new resources.
I see.
Is that in response to that letter? The reply, say new resources and that's one. Number two, I say economic advisory group pang mail direct lo pagkalayon sige that time.
The advisory group, tingani regular meeting ertir.
Okay.
Mela next meeting ertir amorira Amerigela. You're gonna meet.
We might be meeting in Honolulu.
Yeah. Well, twice a year. Sapsana twice a year meet. Cell. What was the first part of the question? The predetermined. Of course, kami Amerika lang ari sila sa OMB, Office of Budget and Management. Tiga audit tempat ada number, wasa tiga dah siya melolokiam dari. Segi the number, tiga dah losa dosa adnira 2020 merela di global deal 6 million tiga dia sel change. Ma RMI, ma FSM abela wasa tiada siya dalam malmil dodul waisi. Mang sell tora new resources, that means more funding. Mula dito sa other post office saying, hindi, kita, al-sumudam sa other amount raudo, kadamnak murti saying unacceptable. Al-sumudam ka understand that all unacceptable, and I don't know what other language we can use it. Gira del mutan more blate blada do. Seguida, gundas yung help el tribal. Instead of say, masa sel krisi la White House el mulgor OMB lo hacen kam open ra idi bal amna tribal open. Seguida, el simna la kadam langwa se wal belgis los pering. Mlaklau tutul seguida msisi el babiel morte.
The last question na kay. Wala Minister Sarah. 2 weeks ago, we had that virtual press con. Kami announce luwase this month, October, katal amo launch sa pilot stablecoin. Siya the update rin kita say.
Thank you, Campes. I know you really want to get some of these stablecoin for yourself. We were hopeful that we can launch the pilot for the stablecoin this month, but we believe we're short of a few steps and are still finalizing the plan. One thing that I'll let you know is we are expecting to have some of the Ripple team visiting this coming November. And what I'd like to do is have them make the rounds, talk to the regulators, talk to the banks, talk to the OEK, and I'd like to have a special session with you so you can answer some of the more detailed questions that you might be interested in. We still would like to do the launch as soon as possible. It'll give us a lot of information on how the coin will work and whether or not there are any adjustments we need to make. And that's the reason why we're doing a pilot and not launching it as a full product. But we do still believe in it. We are getting a lot of advice. When I was in Washington, I met with the IMF, and they identified several areas that we want to clear up before we go into full production with the stablecoin. So we will take our time, but we are very ambitious, and we would like to move the pilot forward as soon as possible. So I think, if possible, November or December might be the new launch date. One of the things that we need to finalize is our marketing plan so that we can advise the public and other people who we call stakeholders who will be involved in this project to understand how this will work. So that's something to look forward to. And with a separate meeting with the Ripple team, we can provide you with a little bit more details on the technical side. But advising in a press conference like this may only confuse people. But yeah, unfortunately, we won't be able to launch the pilot this month.
Presidente, di vorrei agire la ai tele nala blue mail tadi concern lo wasing mal to trouble la gidele am tel mora bak padi la blue maya I know I got important meeting lo bongi ningora mo ngi sel bola ga representative la blue gora especially executive el comité tal comité rung ya wa Independence Day ngora amo kita ria ave wase ngaria at least tell se ngora send a message el video or whatever we sure adling direct teman namo ngari sele tomes el kwasang to kom kwadi ngo aloy del bela dia ngar belau especially for big events mo ya sem lo kwadi elevate adra blue gil seguir gansen
Okay. Dia ngula question tera gira del mom dangali ase dia asil sergi del rogul and I did send the video message. It was via Facebook, but you know, it had to do with scheduling. I could not be in Washington and Palau at the same time. And I think كده عم ضينا سه تيالغام باكتري ده ما دولو لي قدر ومقلا بلورم رجلا probably is at the most critical time. مدينة لو سه vice president أو عملنا family emergency ري. So كده ترجع المنطقة البلا Maria Speaker, represent the Senate, my ministers ang artiang. Yeah, sometimes we cannot do everything, but I think get more prioritize. Malungi lang ang artia to celebrate. Diktiri kan malam na yun kasi diri kan mal close to teller ada na ngarabalu. Ang wila lang clear. Esil take care of family tir, belungur. And all of those things. So we get a moment both of and so the decision we made was that's what was a priority. Apologize from other blue las and artera Independence Day. We tell no artera OBF, but sometimes there's just not enough time and we gotta allocate the middle and prioritize. So sulang ragir.
to Minister, there's been a launch of a stable coin in South Africa, I believe, also the same company, Ripple and stuff. Is there like a team here to look at what they're doing and just sort of compare and see? And there's also, I think there's four more projects with Ripple coin, with stable coin coming up. Are those all going to be, are we going to be watching those and seeing if we can learn stuff from them and stuff?
Thank you. Media is very interested in cryptocurrency and our stablecoin, which is great. I think we need to spread the word and have people understand exactly what we're doing. Of course, the partner that we're using for this project is Ripple. Ripple has a lot of business, like you said, in Africa. The particular part of Ripple that we work with handles what we call central bank digital coins. Ours is similar, but we don't have a central bank, so we don't call it that, and I think I've shared that with you before. So there are differences. Ours is a particular one that's probably the least risk. But yes, we are continuously watching what's happening in the market, both with things with central banks, also with the private companies, also with the regulators, also with the countries when they're passing laws to govern this area. There is probably every day there is something that we are looking at. And we have quite a large team, people on our side who are watching and people on the Ripple side who are watching. And we update ourselves at a general meeting every Thursday. And we have a technical team that works even more days every week to discuss these things. So yes, we are monitoring what's happening and discussing with appropriate parties like regulators and other governments on what they're doing. So it is something that we are keeping an eye on, and what we're doing, what we plan to do, and what other people are doing, and how that's working out.
Mr. President, kami mention ko kasi kami limit talaga CR tol ko Mali, especially sa Starlink nga kalakluwi da Starlink o si landing station sa fiber Pacific ta plan mo lang sa 2023 na Pacific na approach arwa Fiji maraway yellow fiber nga niya fiber Marine Islands diya ka ko na plan sa luwasin mo approach tili na kagalit sa bela mo tara landing station, we might be able to get something out of that.
It's not a landing station.
Landing station, fast Starlink of
It's satellite.
a satellite, hindi ko pa landing station
I see.
stabilize ay the connection. So there was I get a press release at Tirim Nania. Also, a landing station. They're negotiating with countries in the Pacific for landing stations.
Yeah. Mga meeting alal 12 lo magila Starlink Bureau of Communications. Gida ngari alu ro sandi ka competition al sel bela until 2025. So that's load, but we're trying to find ways to say galal sil lomo dingara school, for example, or a test, and then let's see where it can go from there. So that's the first step. But cell landing station we're not familiar with, but definitely if they can use it Tospaya landing station, that's something that we can look at and see how we can partner with them. So we will do.
Sula, Mr. Presidente, malungit tutaw te wai serat mutiagidel press conference la presidente lo mangem agotel importante press conference lo tolad bela tunin en morgi endi el tutaw endi ga live stream ya ndegi modet mum wiga internet endi ngungil borelim la lutel modul wai sele rogun network bela wa tunin en mortia bela ndat smam lo tunin radio ma tv ma Facebook.
Digamos, Sula. Ngira del mo find out what's going
So calling him level up connection, tell you about stable connection, level up my level of the number.
Sula. PNCC disconnecting us from the world. No, kadang the loader ring, and hopefully ngani we like to share we will have PNCC to kira la upcoming projects. But one of the things is that we're hoping for there'll be fiber everywhere to the home. So we're working on that, and then that will solve this problem. So fiber to the home and to the business. But yeah.
Mr. President, agora sa tala lado ang gora dito gere la peso resources en me so is verbela tial egal recent el visit trip program more outside is el hotel trip program more Washington DC serum return kulwai sa kumulwai sa radar blue ram digel raklung el absel ablur bela el quiere la mosurilo la mosurilo no se oye Monsieur time ang ari tiagi del negotiation a impact en ari soldar gi del bigger bela dirgamlan magatatal time el veterans herbela usikrolele mosubi el veterans services no available mer other bela ngarbela amnetara issue ang ramong aklas en dat civil bela de jurisdiction american de el time de la services a triple hospital el military hospital Rablu Ramrigel to provide a service in Mergit ma postal service mang US postal service tiang la sabe el mosois para negotiation malu bengani alda dul kide
So subject to negotiation is subject to the Washington namadura other veterans, the secretary, the deputy secretary, every congressman, senator, bladesang, mosisil to a message el mortir. Onde esperan algo mo ititri. Giran ngaria services el mortir sel return el merbela. El al time, for example, amara huri ping ngaria services el mar veterans ya sida al blue amrigen. So trigal congressman el may gira el suad el mortir. Gira the reminder. And maybe that's something Ayun should have a chance to meet with the veterans while he's here. Because give the reminder, the missing us some open air belang was in Giram no open FSM, a Marshall, and where does stop here? Yellow Miss Adam Bigetia, the missing built the Tiro, a very good critical veterans and Aram Regal. The same thing other more Secretary Austin. I say, from a security standpoint, kami amal concern na security, hindi ka salong iltokoy veterans are return in Berbela. Ilaga lang ara Texas, ilaga lang ara North Carolina. So, tamal recognize Berbela mga contribution our veterans. Di sige del parta tibulo ng usong sa mangira del sumo klimang malgong yelo bangem lo saying. Every opportunity kada masadri. Self firm dos pering ang amrigal. I can come, manglabil gira se. And of course, I'm not talking about a minister, I'm sure I'm going to negotiator, but gira the continuum sadri. There are long selang artiang. Kaftim skme ulbas. Multo the headline. Veterans not taken care of in Palau. Dekal kita toy. Mulwes. I mean, sometimes they get a reminder tir, they don't get the message. Selo ng other blue. I get let's sell Arbella. They'll probably see the newspaper lang Arbella. I get the runway. I get issue more top. In the next 2 weeks, they're here. Let them know. Sometimes that helps them understand better. Telaw sa hindi ka natin complain. We need to give us a. Mana imora solda veteran ng Arbella. Adram Brigade puno kalasi. Tamal Dios mudo lo spera ng algi o ititire sa bolmere. Tigata di gomi mutidi kitel man mem sisi language los pe Adram Brigade mo do lo aise makmal wa se gem dire mal make sure Adram Brigade bol dutti Adram Brigade ay del toy it's not right.
Sula Mr. Presidente Siral me engel Admiral Nicholson naringa tela mal meeting enguluway sak mo se last el visit tirgel US Congresswomen amne me saget project el merigel amne appropriate audo del ma military et memru rablur pela ela tiagi del next will be seated a US Congress me el mera blur pela ngani agora lister gidel malubeng igel girir el momes el gamiam na summit el mortir el girin me mese mga dadur kamiul girel el walon tila blur pela el sebed el clase de mese luul mtemera blur pela
ولا كده ملغمة على ليست كده مثل دوميتير بترى واشنطن قبل الصعد المرتين مثل ما انت مثل لو لبا مدري at the same time en تمددور على هذا الديال فرنسا president المددور so I mean كده سيدا مددور تير كم سادا كم سادا كم سادا infrastructure كم سادا hospital كده ما airport ما veterans issues أيها compact road أولاً compact road بروح أمريكا لاميروين we gotta make sure that they maintain the will Israel one of the things black race اللي بنتريها سي إلا كومبالي رابلو رامري أمينا كومبالي المربلاو يكونتراكت مرولا أن يديل تورا soldado attacks exempt under the status of forces agreement هي parte غير del أبدول غير الواسي بتوعي يتمه بتوع سبيرول de que spero hospital غير ما نلقينا على school إذا قال tax doesn't make sense أجيدا هي الغير del continue المدور تيل غير المو there's a long list and we need to celebrate young and they can get a better understanding of kung labalwat ngara igel challenges they face and hopefully they can be better partners they're okay but they could be better
Sula Mr. Presidente ngani agora ongitin merga Mr. President Betoga igel issues el legal ministry angania question el gerela bebira services el tiramru el malmaklau tutelel merablur bela maradar bela lo dimokra audiora ministry a health ma audiora ministry a maith ma ministry a justice ma ministry a education togoro nitak mogolel sabiulo ngita president bol ngani gagida press conference every week at least el ngani boda sisabra New Year el sebe del guk adresa bebira gal isure larak
okay bueno mucho uktimbe wan al ministerio como kwan awla bangel
I see. Agida mini, Mr. Presidente, agidiriring sa isem, ay agida lamaway sa kumakamnara Taiwan, direk mlora ugurul. Agora tingin mildia ka muklok. Naraul mandia ka klora, imam. Sa ere malo.
دي أقول بس الشارجر ما ودي نوكلو عليه
India ka liyo rasera.
دي عليه راسي يا كلو باي هيلب بريد يا ماني ترى هارت ريت تريد مرة يا سولا
Ndim legi gide, Mr. President, la sabi.
يا مالو لا suggestion en مرة الوايسة for example Minister Cultura أدري كم finish el youth policy أدري قالوا el opportunity لو el share I'm sure Vice President أملا Kosovo مكسل share كم رولة
Tigere, Mr. President, question mo Vice President, el gire laureora Ministry of Justice. Tiang ako ram magatatal case March 2021. Ngani abuy gel mirot ra compact road ra arara milik. Emlat. Egora dirga kal bol clear klaseng lewang ra investigation el gire. Tamlamit ra director Massive Criminal Investigation Division Ablela Police. Hindi mula si Attorney General adilon dia ka autopsy. Hindi radar ablirit gelbuy gamne request autopsy ng gelbuy gadim nakal marud. Tamlam may gel X-ray gel ngelgir. Elmlet elmala badangel. Ma toktangal milnga dadur tira o tilwaisi. Toga de unitek na segambe pomogera Vice President kung se ven mo follow up sa gidi.
Malungil al total mal masawra gera ako natin so kan makataktoy was are you asking on behalf of the family lembay gora sumangan nga issue gibom meet with the director gibom kora kadang makora payoling itrate alal sumkawa asa edan mo nga rin sa private meeting alo bangga mal sum komtera family mal uba family na members ba amal mitang kora koltal kang si tegi del issue maka akora payoling ita sa gital kora mo private al meeting at sabi edan ko over aigel documents sa lola bal sum ngani ngay gidel medical records ra ngalagi rin en ngara kora suma issue with Attorney General ang kukmo di kanya autopsy dire kal takarira Attorney General ang para dira ka teka kora information ko labal kitel sige nga amo sa edan after the press conference at ado able to track
Sula Vice Presidente, nakakatiya kumtira family. Hindi tumdasak mo mama adra media, unsibelo spera mama question na authorities el girela gel case. Malduma guger ngim na ngari documents el megire el mlain dimno diak ngai lel dat ala at sivra CID ma director awal awanair sel babier el tilob da CID el mura attorney general kun diado sfera autopsy di seguir el babil ngela at sivra CID mno diat sebel mu inditum el gol mutoban akapin digo ay sergam sebemel wagen molgo urible
Sula. Mr. Patul, hindi ka
Hindi kang gusto ka askara Minister Victor sel MOU lam sa nang Taiwan la si mo nga sa orgid na aquaculture ngari ako more specific to that tad ubendir ka ngara ako general idea mo kung dino mo rol kidel kora tara interest to ka atal dire ka interest ta ngil type para to ka retirees na mo sorry del maatara aquaculture
Sulang le question se actually hindi akal MOU wasing letter of intent. Se letter of intent ay ngar al sela ko siya adolingit ra Taiwan mo mulong sa orgidra expand ra tora aquaculture to kunia tora milk fish angal aul mo ngani capacity rigidel sa edel malia aul ra avelaw limitation rigidel lang ada hatchery rigidel big enough for edel lom ella aul masaya octid el mora agabelmente Taiwan gitial talo la vice president tra bro Taiwan al men ania very expert ma potential el adlo ventril mel diregal parternya ki mo mesra yel sersra at pang mo mo ania recommendation tilo asing magara sa edel magalurore malmol mel arsegid el dasra qasem magara وريا capacity كده بلا تغني يعني هاتري مر هذا المدلول مر enough البوتستار أول السبب enough الأول الستايل السيرسة ذيك إذ أنتو ذات الوسيسر إلي نقوم ملانيا ceremony را سيل compound كده را Bureau of Agriculture ران إسر أجمع لتول تقول قوق government راسيابال أو نصير كده را تقول سيرسة تقولي تقول livestock kadam lo saying ra exchange of notes ra about 800,000 el nges ra siabal mamala gel equipment el mo so edel marula mo or cell meat processing facility mo so edel mo dira babi yo sisbir al cell en otoba gel bek parts ra babil so edel mal ngara peles el al time ديريغ المسؤول مو لا سوسيس ديريغ المو مرورا مال تقا فاسيليتي سير ولا ديغ سكير مو قد مو فنسر سيل روغير الكومباوند ران اسر مو سكيور ذا الاريا ديريغ الملونيا كراون بريكينغ سيجي ديريغ النسورا شابال الممغض اور سيل وردرا $1.8 million facility l'ultimo keringia daseng chicken slaughterhouse mo sabe del morseng sisba malgen magwade mus yotoba del Marcel الستاندرد السؤال المولتران قال مالغرا ستوا ديريغ الموني سيجي داسين ميت بروسيسنج فاسيليتي ما ديريغ الموني فيت لابراتوري ما يجي ال required equipment الفيت اوسبيل لو مسا هيلدرا لايف ستوك توكوني مالغا ما بابي بس ياغو ملاني اللي مغدمرين غاسوليلا ambassador karasama قبل من تراسيابال الململ خسير كده او تغورا agriculture. Sula.
Minister Kunto, ano
Sula Presidente, mal tutar mar adrowi. Del al black kung kora pasar ngila kora kami lego makambes ma sadoya draft ersel BS el go youth policy rigid. Sel nombre youth policy abla expire sera 2021. Aigan ablo lorul ay marak batang se kukomura 2022 mo 2027. Mang loss of amal in the last few months so kaloring ako takuring asulela Sharon Sakuma ngangele country coordinating specialist ra UN engaya o bangamang lolo ngela UNICEF no sabi ngania Radil Kirsten Anderson el tilob ra consulting firm el mora UNICEF el mora sergit el no mesagir rogul data mlera telel mlerbela about a month ago mlomita rogul ministries ma rogul faith-based organizations ma gideg metra global morabek padengela aldabe erbelaw dimlak include tira kami I'm hoping that with this draft and settle kayong sir komisra youth policy el no maybe tagi del policy basically the sel mut el policy and sel wheel the President Whip sera campaign o mesagel kukora le core luldasul do lasel mo koltautra el administration el omlodakta kay the luldasu and maybe tagi del basel policy rigid couple points el gukim blomomes ngil le so that improve ngira sel lasel policy amlomes sel teletele la organizational chart and the way the flow of resources amorigal states Agib lang matigringit mong umisin time magal state government sa biitut sa gidal wak youth organization ringi. Altangan nga aldabe el ngani organization ringi. Dindiak sel kora organization chart wa mechanism ringi il mera ministry rigid. Yang argi de kuk link kalmura gil international ma local funding sources. For example, mura youth education mga niya fund ringi. Kamamalukuk ngara ministry rigid nga niya UNESCO. Ending leidel segi del kamamal mora states we're trying to improve that during this policy for example al policy ngania kwadi otir kami Agoro state are one of the best examples ngania mar clear sora ligidel organizational chart tip di ngania tavlol components ngani sel YSC si actually KYSC si actually si NGO. Yeah, KYSC, Koror State Youth Council. Correct? Edrek ngani ako youth program coordinator. Eka lukma under governor. Did you under governor? Di imo ako NGO imo within the state. And so what we're trying to do is work with the governors and make sure and get representative and Marcel Youth Council within the ministry. Represent the entire Tirtial state. At targibo morurnya malasamal connect agel NGOs through Bango magel youth-based organizations and part sila council. When sabi edal kayong seol okmonganya reporting requirements agel kuk funding al gibatigel melmora states and sila kayong sewa agel youth coordinator ministry. Ilong seol make sure our reporting gets done. A lot of times ang mumitut sa igid regal states mumumring til mala funding. So that's one of the big challenge I'll give tral address with this policy. In addition to little programs within the policy itself. Makulungit tamal sabi elabom take time kora review ni. Yagi momre kara igal maklol kora albang ledra next week. Yak momala sa mulkola meeting lumagala itsul kakarosol kora aldabe alma entities including ra media kadukok mo through ni omes at mga ragel kuk momes ang Gidi mla mo include tagi dal policy or kukila talol to. Kaya kada malas mo inclusive mong every part of society gida ngara al sel tagi dal policy.
Minister ati kadebel kadik cell organization rayu tara under a ministry ka taril ang heteringi nakalwidam na rin sa Daseng Youth Council made up particular role representative sa Egal State sendir ka nga rin ilala
Al-ada ngaringi youth council algi momes kota giru kanay nge youth coordinator a minister gid. Nge gid ablo all meeting im trigger rogul youth coordinators al top dra each state. So every state has a youth coordinator trigger mo meet mo gi mi di lakal marul tagid al policy.
And one last question. Little tiang. Blow cell legal to ko rayo yung maybe la ko mga marami dia da kay insan mal blow mesringin mo mol blow di involve by gel wabelaw games tel draft tel plan ng ngaring ako baby activities el involve rayo all year around dal ubeng coordinating mechanism.
Ma'am Saul, it's a very good question. Cell bomo Mr. Cell org chart ma'am. One thing I didn't include agel bebira ministries, but we're gonna cell bebo lang maigel rogul ministries, ma international organizations, el ngaringa programs niya more segid hotel bebol. Yeah, to answer your question, yes. I give Mr. SL schedule of Mangalala, for example, Ministry of Education, namo ngani intercessions or tir. Magit makalgo cordial develop agel programs or tir in during the intercessions, umonia all year round programs. Agidre gal loryo lo Mangala WIOA le imamade gel guk regular programs sa WIOA am haldi fall on the summer. Magidre gal nama adadu lo Mangala tawot mo kadam karang sabi edel ko spread out ringi during intercessions ng niya activities. Adire gal giba moru ringi le part sel ko agreement lo Mangala Council of Indigenous People. Dire gal lo lo Mangala bilung relang amo lgi saragi del tel amayong cultural center. Mga regular activities ringil kung masada tukara culture mong alak alwid ang niya aldado alam ng Ministry of Education at tukara kung music, ma arts, ma creative arts mong kada mo malasa mo spread out mo tuka pa activities mo dito focus sa sports. Ma piano siya kung mawan na daw regular kung masada sports din dire kal tap into other ministries and masada different activities.
Thank you. The last one ko presidente vice sa amal ko kora ay sige talong role mal mura ko so for which is story about it ko mal interesting. Sindi ang nga niya pamagan niya lang.
Oy. Kamal masara loger isel trip. As you know, ang akamlo because of a family emergency, ang mlo tiyak por sili United Nations General Assembly mo malmasala minister ay tarol mo subel lom tira valor belal mo. At that meeting, mle meeting imang kagit President Travelura Kosovo. President Travelura Kosovo gagare radil 40 years old. Ingagit el President Kosovo, President Osmani, Padriu, mle extend the invitation al merangal mo participate ra Women, Peace and Security Conference ang Noringira Kosovo. Tial Women, Peace and Security milgat mo kram rigera 2017 by legislation and may codify sel commitment tra US government alwasya ardi lagirin involve ra roho el peace building activities magagidra aldo el gire la sustainable al peace ra in the regions ra below. El sel 2017 al mle Women, Peace and Security Act Miguel Autoy ramle 2000 UN Security Council Resolution 1325 al dire kalwablo al bukat taklir mulwasi giri ardil al ngani are critical actors in all efforts on sustaining international peace and security. Le celeboria magmath and the real affect ardil. Arterdil trigidil mongarablay, taking care of the families, continuing with daily subsistence irling totob da ar alan mamkamat tiel mardil matamlo partra makamat makmlor segi del meeting al mlaringi da Kosovo the Women and Peace and Security first inaugural meeting. Del meeting adira kalun ngat mokaringi to honor the legacy ra Madeleine Albright and gel kotredil and mlo Secretary of State Tamrigil, who was very instrumental in peace efforts la balura Kosovo, umlo sabela Kosovo mlo mereka magmadringi ra 1999, mlo independent at 2008. It's a small country. Tirka 14 years old republic. Population is 1.5 million. Considers themselves a very young republic. Ngatel me o isra president ma cabinet siya maral ngal tangatal tang okartyang al sab edan masada at tokora ikakidele evaluada ma to even have the luxury long mondak mulwasya October 1st al holiday ngiri web tra September doring October 1. That's a luxury nga ra budo al balu al sab edan lo mondal kiri laway kel toy le Kosovo amlania genocide ngayim tamlavar af matakmal makasal adal di magyakarel adal di akar mawadal tir misal obo niya kamo change sa perspective ra kamo mangmaran tiri kan lom asar mo langania makamadar tir kami amtingil wasya neighbor tir Serbia ako radiol darmer martir mangtir kang yakal alartin mo member UN mga tiang ako kasi maral sabi edan mesatial relationship ra China ma Taiwan ang koraw o sisiw Kosovo wa Taiwan ay gagidali Serbia wa sinal ang malamol mga Serbia claim wa say Kosovo partra a Serbia. Bato ka sa ikal mo hindi ang kakadebata maktimo duli tiya gidal ngayon Prime Minister 46 argil 46-year-old gentleman. Ngal ardil til Minister of Foreign Affairs ang niya Koltal Krangsi, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Diaspora. Lembato kara adra baludir el tilo badra baludir. Lemlem kamada ul. Matatilo badal mora balura Germany lati ili sa tegi diel el magmada selmlo endra 1999 ang magmada. Mal lo spera adra balurir el kirangod al balu remittance support tra balurir mangaringi tegi den Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Diaspora lo mesel girir tirgegi del other sel balu el tiray kira outside ra abalurir matoldurok la remittance ako gelo sing how does it work tamlo open ra account el tirgegi del other tel balu adi direct daw del al tegi del account lol ngosera government tertir makmal blom asaro makasi mangaria ko ra kontrato omriro lang kom karang erol triral mrula oil am to titiro lol sis baw tudir ngar outside lol sis baw do ter belulol ngoseo mangbalol ya ngakangkal minister asay le mama mlaria genocide tel belu marada soril lol ngasora belurir soril adar tel belu soril melisi era belurir mang akmal belum asar mo kwartir le tutkiawan ragi karel adal dong okla luasing yang artial dimle urior alwanir ngasa barkal rawrere ra Germany leng ras ersel Albanian ras ersel suebo kalmong dimla kalmo koro ratial beluara Kosovo ar adrabli lamla Germany nding sual me orion mangwawani raw rerel mong take a pay cut emo mangarsel oriol wanir ko dar saigel talent tringi ngoswira belwal mang magek tilong ang maral change sa perspective rigid maka maral wasegida malngal tangat ani abot rabelwat the selba akla President Talbora Taiwan at sina mamrula ko raway kay kidiel threatening behaviors di sel dangara balwa di kita tial el sel ba aklamang. I came away with that was yung malagiri dal mo o si Itial Nation Building makmalogi uteng yung mga mortirkel nga rekrel belaw other belaw was Pulso bi yung nguso kumamar other belaw al logi usay gid al ngani ate al sabi iwal melo nga sew poto ka ngay yung sweet tel balwa dal nya waldi kise dat ngal tanga nga rabot andi segi di wasi bol sabi dat makarogu edol nga sir abalwa da mar adal kira al sila balur belaw kaman sila lagi
Adigi ager, di sokan mo kami tele youth policy read. There's basically 5 policy areas. I know you kasi blolo ka these Torah sports, but the number of first policy areas health and healthy lifestyle. Kita may lo saying one of close challenge kita mental illness may kita needs to be a priority. We need to address it. Education. Say policy area 2. Education, skills, and employment. So kaldi duli sele partra tel policy ase one of the main challenges that are the high cost of living relative to the average minimum wage. So partra tel policy ase ensure a working wage. Actually tel kung sa adra senata kora ultib de alla ngani senator amo I hope a priority a living wage kambes wise. To algo te diga msubri tilu te msubri so hopefully ngari ar beber adal uk ma arte arur tel amum das wasegi da diga priority gira del muhat mok I just wanted to share that and then the other area is justice protection social inclusion of course culture politics and sports and lastly the environment I get our policy area so it's comprehensive. So if you have a chance to look at it.
Mr. Page 36, objectives, reporting mechanism. Some, for example, NCD, in some track, reporting or state effective program.
Well, I say, some diga, did about Mutromelek, Langarit, Vice President Lamera November 1st, Amara 2nd, Maria JC Emmer next sugar November 2nd and more 4th. Triargida Malmol Malora Mugilagoro State, Moria Land Settlement Meeting at Alal Melwigra November 3rd at 9 a.m. I get agora the update Trigid. Marquis Listra. Purte. Okay. Lastly, قدروا كم مرينا سولير تريجل لورول مشهور جدا رابك السيلز مرادر بيلاو تانشو بيرتير السيلز مغارير تيم first Smoust Sanford and هي أورا post office ناريا ميساي تشين coordinator Bureau of Fisheries ناريا مارشيا غازوما نغارا Ministry of Education Nosera special ed area junior rangil gadirigal sense ngara school ngara mlungui Marishel Kiulul nganurs ngara MHHS damra sulir congratulate tir luka ilo tarara and wish them many more happy birthdays sulang adios salam kaltangatara ablodra ablur bela mugid rogul sulang